Hi, everybody. All right, the system says we are live. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Welcome to my Friday night Stamp and Sip, where the weekend starts early. I am Michelle Solis from This Must Be Ink. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. So I have been on vacation, and I feel like I'm completely out of the loop here. So I have been running around for the last 15 minutes trying to die cut a bunch of pieces. I just had gotten home from vacation and opened my Stampin' Up! Box and opened up these dies that I just ordered, the Light and Wonder dies. So honestly, I made 2 cards last night, one of which you saw on the preview on Facebook. And I'll show you the other one as well. But that's it. I have made 2 cards, and that's all I have played with these dies. So tonight, I don't know. I die cut a bunch of pieces. I am going to try to, hi, Carol. I'm going to try to case this card that's in the catalog because it's using a lot of the dies and the pieces so that I could show you a lot of them. But I haven't put this card together before, so we'll see how that turns out. Oh my goodness. All right. So anyways, here we are. I don't always stamp on a Friday night, but when I do, I stamp and sip with all of you. Oh, thanks, Carol. Yep, I got my hair cut while I was on vacation with Galina. She's my favorite hairdresser. She's from Russia and she lives in Colorado. She's my daughter's hairdresser and she is just amazing. So while I was out there, I took advantage of that and got my hair cut. And I was like so tired of my long hair. I was like, you just have to cut it off. So that's what she did. I think it looks pretty cute. Okay. Thanks, Jan. All right, so again, every time I come on here, they've changed the buttons. So hopefully this is the right button. There we go. All right, so this is the card that you saw on Facebook. This is using the Light and Wonder dies, which are these dies that make the trees. Also the die that made this slope here that looks kind of like snow. And then this is the Lights of Aurora designer series paper that I've used here for the background. So let me just go quick. You guys have probably already seen this paper, but this is paper that is supposed to look like the Northern Lights, a bunch of different patterns. Oh, here's that one again. You get 2 of each pattern. I think it's pretty cool, but I really wasn't sure what to do with this paper. I really liked it when I saw it in the catalog with the tree silhouettes on top of it. So that's why I decided, all right, I'm going to need those dies. So I didn't have anything like these, and so I ordered them. So I just received them, and as I said, I've only been playing with them since last night. Hi, Julie. So I made a couple cards last night. So this is the one. Now this one, you can see how blue it is. I used, let me see if I can find the piece. I used this piece for that card. So you can see this piece when you take it out of the pack, it's got a lot of white in it and not a lot of blue. And I really wanted it to be vibrant blue. So I just used my blending brush and some Azure Afternoon ink and blended across the white here to give it a really vibrant blue color. And so that's how I did that. And then I cut these trees out of the Azure Afternoon. And then these trees are Night of Navy, just a little bit here. And then I stamped my thanks in Night of Navy. So that's that card. So I really love these dies with this paper, but you can, of course, use them without the paper. So since I had just gotten back from Colorado, I decided to make, of course, some mountains that reminded me of Colorado. So I did this one in the background, like an orangey. So kind of like when the sun is hitting the mountains, you get that nice highlighted area. And then did some basic gray here with a little bit of white details to show like a little bit of snow on the mountains. And then just did this die again, this one piece in, I think this is Mossy Meadow. And as I said, it was late last night when I was doing these, so I just couldn't add any more layers, although I would have liked to. And then I did the little clouds I did in vellum up there, so you can, they're kind of hard to see unless you see them in person. So there's that one as well. So I love these dies. So we are going tonight to look at the catalog. I always get inspiration from the catalog, and the designers at Stampin' Up are just so great. So I decided to look and see what they did. And I love this one here in the middle. And so this is also made with the Lights of Aurora paper. Let me show you the piece that they used here, if I can find it. They used this piece that has this really wide section here, this here. And what they did was, I think they cut it with the dies, and so it looks like water. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So the dies in this set, let me move this out of the way. The dies in this set, you get 9 dies. And they're all amazing, and they all do different things. So these are the 2 dies that do these little trees, and of course the clouds. And then you get, here's the trees and the clouds. And then you get this die. That's a weird looking thing, but it cuts this piece out. I can't pick it up. It cuts this piece out. So you get this like mountain look here, but you also get these little areas. So you could put white behind there, or in my case, I had cut it out twice and I just paper pieced. I just put the little white pieces on in and glued them into my gray areas there. So that's that die. And then you get this die that cuts this shape. Oops, I'm losing everything. 1 second. That's on the floor. Okay. It cuts this shape. And then when you cut that out, you also will get this piece. And so I believe that this is the piece that they used for the water in that card. Okay, so then you get this die as well. That's going to give you this. Cuts this out. You're going to get a mount. Do I have the other part? No, I don't. I think I used it on something. So you'll get this mountain piece that looks like this. So you can use it as mountains, or you could use it behind something. So that's interesting. And that's what I love about these dies is you can use both pieces here. So you've got this little slope, or you can use it this way. You could use it this way for a sky. So all of these really cut out some great shapes. All right, so I'm going to put those aside. And then, of course, you got your trees. Those are the big trees. And then you get these little skinny trees as well. And again, what I would love about these is the negative pieces, because this piece can be used as, oh my God, I got such short nails now after I was helping my daughter. I can't pick anything up. All right, hang on. All right, let me grab some Azure Afternoon because I've already used that on this blending brush. But let me just show you that you could also use this piece as a stencil. Hopefully it won't move while I'm doing this. So I've just begun to, oops, I moved it. Just begun to play with this. And I really look forward to making some Christmas cards with this. Because, you know, you can get these cute mountain scenes for a Christmas card. But anyway, so look. So if you use this as a mask, you will get a nice little silhouette of trees back there as well. So there's a lot of different uses for these dies, and then the negative pieces from the dies. Okay, so let me show you again the card that we're going to try to create tonight. It's this card right here in the middle. And you can see, I think this is a Slimline. I don't actually know what size that card is in the middle. It looks really tall. I don't think it looks like an actual Slimline, but I think I might try to make it a Slimline. Okay, so I think Slimlines are 3.5 by 8.5, I think. Am I right about that? All right, so 3.5, that means we need a piece that's 7 by 8.5. I don't know, I'm winging it tonight, guys, so we'll see what happens. So 7 by 8.5, then we have to score it at 3.5. And that should be our card base. All right, let me just fold that so I can make sure it's even. Yeah, see, this looks really much taller and skinnier than the one that's in the catalog, so we'll see what happens here. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is it doesn't fill up the whole page and then I have to cut some off. That's all right. All right, so the first things first, I think that they used a piece of the Lights of Aurora paper for this sky background. So the Lights of Aurora paper on the other side has this just like a watercolor wash. And I think that this is what they used for the sky. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to cut this at 3.5. All right, there. And I'm going to just glue that right on. And I'm not going to worry about if I'm wasting any of it because it's a demo. So we're just going to glue that on. But there's some little pieces sticking off here. Normally I would, you know, figure out everything and maybe cut some off to save some, but I'm not going to worry about that tonight. All right. I hope you guys all had a great week while I was away. I did have a fabulous week with my daughter, although it was a lot of hard work. Moving is hard work. All right, I'm going to turn this upside down. She had a lot of boxes. So everything was already over there. Everything was already moved over there. But I was in charge of unpacking. So she was putting things together. I was unpacking. So I'm sitting in her office unpacking everything and handing it to her, and she's trying to figure out where it's going to go. Oh, it's so stressful. So we tried to do the kitchen and the bathroom first so that we could like live there. And that did make a lot of sense. All right, so that's the background for the sky. And then you can see they've got a white piece of mountain here. And then I don't know what color that is. I made it balmy blue. It looks like it might be a little bit more green in the picture, but I did a balmy blue mountain behind that or in front of that. All right, so here is our white mountains. And then here's our balmy blue mountains. And then we just have to decide how we want this to look here and where we're going to cut it off. So I think I like the big mountain. Let's move it over a little more. Okay, so we get some of this up peak here. Okay, so I think right there. Oh, it's crooked. Right there. All right, so I'm going to take a pencil and just mark lightly where I want to cut that. And then I want to figure out where I'm going to cut this one. So this one I kind of want to line up with this, maybe over a little bit. Let's go over like that. Okay, so then we will, oops, that's also crooked. Straighten that out. And make some little marks there so we know where to cut that. Okay. So it works best if you put the flat end up at the top of your trimmer. And that's hard because, well, luckily we have somewhere to hold on to this on both sides. Oops, I think I need a new blade. I just mangled that piece completely. But we're going to save it. It'll be fine because it's going to kind of be behind the trees. All right, let's see if I can do this one without mangling it. I think I need a new cutting blade, maybe. All right. So there are those two pieces. I'm going to fit this on here. And I'm just going to glue it on randomly. Here. And then anything that, if it's a little long, obviously you can just trim the edges off when you're done. This one is going to have the white show through, so it'll look like it's got some snow on the mountains. There we go. Oops, that's crooked. Good thing we used some liquid glue there. We can move it a little bit. Okay, so yeah, you can see that I've got some stuff hanging over. So we can cut through there. This is like 3 layers now, so got to manhandle it a little bit. And then on the other side, actually that looks pretty good. All right, so there are my mountains. And then, it's a lot of layers. Then we've got the little purple trees, which I did cut out of Gorgeous Grape, and the water. So we've got to figure that part out. All right, so the trees are going to go on here like this. like that. Okay. And then my water piece. So I cut this designer series paper out with that die. So I've got this little peak at the top. And I think that they just laid this over this piece like that. And then I think they put their other trees on top of that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is going to be gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to, this time I think I'm going to just lay this down and cut it off. So I'm going to pop out these little pieces. And I'm going to just put some glue. Every time I put it down, I put it a different way. So let me just put some glue in the middle here. I don't know if this is a good idea, but this is my idea. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right. There's things sticking on there. All right, we're going to go right here. Pretty good. We're going to just cut this off. You know what? I don't know which way is easier, whether you glue it on and cut it off or if you cut it first. Okay, there's my purple trees. And then my water. That just is amazing. Look at it, makes it look like there's land now coming in. That's amazing. They've done a really good job with this paper. All right, so I think maybe if I turn this over, just make myself some guidelines of where to put the glue, then I won't make such a mess. Okay. Got that on there. And then we'll just cut the excess off. It's a lot of layers. This card, if I end up sending this card, is probably going to take some extra postage. Oh my gosh, I love it just like that. Look at that, because this purple matches, so it kind of looks like land coming down here. I like it just like that. But we are going to add the other layer of trees. So I think, should I make them go all the way down? Oh, let's see how much more room we've got here. That's going to be tricky. So we would cut it off about here. Let's try that. I lost my line when I turned it. There we go. It's right here. All right, so the only problem with this piece is it's got all these little things that you want to pop out here. I'm going to do some of them. I don't know that I'm going to do all of them. Although, you know, my OCD-ness wants me to do them all. But I don't really think it's necessary because they're trees. And yeah, I need that thing that goes on your take your pick tool that you get to roll over, and you can, it's got a brush that you can roll on there and pop all the little pieces out. I might need one of those now. Does anybody own one of those? Does it work like a charm? Hi, Mary. You can see me struggling with all my little pieces here. All right, I'll just take some out of these big pieces in the middle. I don't think this cut all the way through. Which is not surprising because I was in a hurry. All right. How does that look? Pretty good. Let's get some of these other big ones out. And I don't think these ones right here in the middle didn't seem like they cut really well. I should have gone through twice, back and forth. I don't want to rip it. Okay. All right, well, let's just use it like this. Let's see how it goes. All right, so if we put this on down here, we want to show some of the water. That looks good. Oh, we can't go too far because I just realized the water ends here. So you've got to have the bottom of your trees on there. Okay, so we've got to go to right about here. So we've got to cut a little more off. There. Again, I've lost my line because this paper is so dark. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens when you're rushing. No rushing. There we go. All right. Oh, some pieces stuck off there. Okay. So where's my water? Water is down here. So this is going to go on like that. And I did do it a smidge too short. All right, we can make it work right there. All right, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to make the lines. That worked really well last time. To show me where to put the glue. And I'm going to add some glue up here on my trees. I don't think anybody is going to notice. There we go. All right. So then we've got these trees on there. Let's cut this off. Well, I could have probably used a little more glue, so we may have to go back and get some more glue on here. There. And then this side. It's a lot of layers. I'm going to have to love somebody to send them this card. Okay, so yes, look, we need some more glue here to make this stay down. So we get a little bit on the edge here. And then a little bit on this edge, just at the top of the trees to hold it down. There we go. So the only thing we're missing now is the sentiment and the clouds. I did cut us some clouds. I think this one in the catalog, I think they used all 3 clouds. There we go. And then we just have to do a sentiment. So I'm going to pop up the clouds because I haven't popped up anything else on the card. Just done a lot of layers. So we'll use a little dimensional and a big dimensional. For the clouds. The only thing this set doesn't have is birds. It's got everything else. Oh, we may have to use a piece of a dimensional for this little skinny area here. My goodness. I don't even know if I can take the backing off here. Oh my goodness. All right, well, we're not using a piece. It's going to just stick on like that. There we go. And then this last piece. I think we can get a big one on there. And a little one. Oops, crooked clouds. There we go. All right. Ta-da! Okay, so then we just need a sentiment. I do not have the stamp set that goes with this. So, which would be very nice because they use this beautiful sentiment that says embrace the wonder, which would be really nice. I may have to talk myself into getting the stamp set as well. But I think what I'm going to do is do just a note. So this is from Simply Said. Those are my stamps. We're going to do just a note. And I'm going to put that on some white. Got a little scrap here. And we're going to do it in, oh, I don't know, maybe balmy blue. Let's try it in balmy blue and see if it's got enough. Oh, Mary says the roller does work. Don't lose the phone. Oh, the foam mat. Ah, yes, it comes with a foam mat so that you can lay it down on there and kind of push the pieces through. All right, what do we think about the blue? Yes, I like the blue because it pulls in, pulls your eye down to the bottom of the card. So I'm going to just cut this out, which is just tricky with my trimmer that needs a new blade. I'm just going to make this a square. I think it's cutting better if I pull down than when I push up. just a note. And I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. And then we're just going to need some bling. So what do you guys think? I think I showed you a lot of the dies in the set. There's only a few that I think we didn't use. But you can see that the shapes on these dies just make some incredible images. And then you can use also the negative of the dies. All right, so there's my sentiment. And now we need some bling. What are we going to put on here? I think they just used some sparkle. Oh, I've got purple. Let's use the purple. These are, what are those? These are the purple shimmer. And honestly, I'm not sure if these are even still current. But I've had these such a long time because I had so many left over from my Alzheimer's card kits that I did. I've got a bunch, and this is such a big card. Let's put a bunch on here. And go up here. Ooh, I lost my dimension, or my bling. Put one up there. Should I put two here? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! What do we think? I like it. I have not made a Slimline card in a long, long time. So that's kind of fun that I just decided let's do a Slimline card. Just because that card had so much on it. I felt like I wanted to do that whole thing and I didn't want to try to squish it into the 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5 length. Okay. Thanks, Maria. So, all right. So this is the one that we did tonight with the Lights of Aurora paper and the Light and Wonder. I think that's what they're called. Light and Wonder. One moment. I've got everything all crazy. Yep. Light and Wonder dies. And then this is the one that you guys saw on Facebook. And then this is the other one that I did that reminded me of Colorado. All right. So that is it for me tonight. If I can remember how to get out of here. There we go. There we go. All right. That's it for me tonight, guys. Oh, that was a lot of layers. Okay. So I will be sending out the PDF for this card after I write it up because, as I said, it's the first time that I made this card, so I'm going to have to write this up. So you can get the PDF if you go to my website, which is thismustbeink.com, and sign up for my email list. Every Wednesday following my Friday Stamp and Sip, I send out the directions for the card that I did. So that's one way to get the PDF for that. Okay, so everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully some of you guys are doing the World Card Making Day tomorrow. It starts at 4 o'clock. Stampin' Up! Has a virtual program that they're going to do tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you guys have signed up for that, I hope that you will like it. It's a cute little kit that goes with that. But even if you don't have the kit, they're going to have some great ideas that you can use with using your own supplies. Okay, so that's it. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys, some of you, next Tuesday, and then I have a workshop in person on the 18th. So I'll see you then. Okay, have a good night, guys. Stay crafty, my friends.